Welcome to the Four Pros podcast, where we are cultivating culture in the world of basketball. I am your host, Thomas Gipson, and I'm super happy and blessed to be with you here today. Recording this, I'm currently in Mexico right now. After this, I have to prepare for a game tomorrow. So back-to-back games, which is crazy. So I'm going to be able to talk about that in my podcast. Playing back-to-back games like we're in the NBA, but this is what it's about, and this is exactly why I'm bringing this podcast to you. Like I said, I am your host, Thomas Gipson, and I am currently a professional basketball player overseas. This is my 9th year right now. I've been in Mexico, Finland, France, Argentina, Ukraine, Turkey, and I think maybe one more place. I'm kind of forgetting it off the top of my mind. But I'm creating this podcast because I want to share my experience being overseas. I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom just by being isolated. There's a lot of things that I've been through that are a testimony to where I am now, and as to why I'm still playing in my 9th year. And also, for other players as well. It's not just about me. I want to share my story, but I also want, I want you, the audience, and everybody else to hear other people's stories as well. Everybody is different. Everybody has different experiences playing overseas, whether you're in the Middle East, whether you're in Asia, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Latin America. There's so many different lifestyles and cultures out there that you want to be able to experience, and you want to get your story out there. So the reason I'm making this podcast is to interview other professional basketball players, other coaches, people that are around basketball a lot, especially overseas. GMs. If I get GMs, that's fine. But like I said, it's for pros, specifically for pros, and to share their experiences of what they've had to do, obstacles they've had to overcome by playing professional basketball, learning the ins and outs of the game. How to survive during other cultures, having culture shocks, being isolated, what do you do, hobbies, food, things like this, traveling, there's so many different things, like I said, that we're going to talk about and share that, a lot of family members or, close friends or whatever kind of don't know about, that's outside of the realm. Back in the States, and I say that because, like I said, I'm in Mexico. A lot of people pay attention to, the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, things like that. A lot of people aren't really necessarily aware of overseas basketball. Now, you do have some Twitter heads that are familiar with it, that are making jokes about, Dylan Brooks going to Shanghai, China, or, these jokes that these couch potatoes be making towards these highly professional basketball players about, going to China, going overseas. So like it's known, but I want to bring shed a lot more light and bring a lot more detail to things. So this episode is a little short, because I just wanted to introduce myself, lay the foundation of what this podcast is about. Obviously, you, the audience, are more than welcome to let me know if you want me to reach out to any specific basketball player that you would like to hear, that you would like to be, that you want to be interviewed. The basketball world is pretty small, so I wouldn't necessarily say it's like a fraternity, but all you got to do is know somebody to know somebody to know somebody, and then boom, like you can become friends with that person, or a lot of things. You can develop friendships. So like I said, if you know anybody that wants to be that you think will be good to be interviewed, if you want to know more information about that person, feel free to reach out. We'll have the email. We'll have a link of the email where you can send your suggestions to, or anything that you want to hear specifically. I'll add it to it. I'll add it to my notes or whatever I need to share. So yeah. So I can tell you a little bit about me. I graduated college 2015. Went to Kansas State. You see that? So played and started all 4 years. Won a Big 12 championship 2012. I was the kid that I worked extremely hard, but I know also for sure that I had my fair share of fun college moments, which was good. I had a mix of that young college kid also with that young professional gift. And so after I graduated, I got a degree in family studies, human services, which is basically HR things, helping things for kids. I really like the family dynamics structure. It was always interesting to me. So after I graduated, I played, like I said, my 9th year overseas, currently right now, but my first year out, I played in Finland. My second year, played in France, Pro A. Got cut, ended up taking a break, left from France Pro A. I flew back home in November. I flew back home Thanksgiving Day. I didn't get a job again till January or February, something like that. That was a real tough time. I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that moment in detail a little bit more, maybe like on the second episode. Just giving you a rundown of where I've been, so you can know what to hear. When I'm talking about when I'm talking to my teammates, or the guys that I'm interviewing. I'll get more into detail about those things on down the line. So after my second year, I ended up I was in Pro A Chalon, ended up leaving November, ended up going back to France, Pro B. I was at BBD Boulazac next to Bordeaux in France, and ended up winning the chip, which was great. Third year now, year 3, I go back to Finland, try to research my career a little bit, establish great relationships there in Finland, in Kouvola, Finland. Shout out to my coach Yuri, shout out to the owner Sammy, shout out to the other owner Yari as well. Those are great guys. I love those guys with the bottom of my heart, man. Allowing me to just come back year after year, which is great. So yeah, my third year ended up going back to Kovo, and unfortunately lost there. I think we ended up getting second place. And I'm sorry because I had to jump back and forth a lot, so my timeline is a pretty pretty shaky. Not shaky, but some things you just forget about and try to forget. But Finland, France, Finland again. Turkey. So ended up going to Turkey, second league Turkey. Um, Iffy experience. I didn't get paid for 2 months, which was, I'm sure I'll definitely, talk about that a lot more too on the second episode. Um, that was a real tough time because that was when my wife, Taylor, she was pregnant with our first oldest, and so not having 2 months payment, kind of 2.5 months, kind of hurt me and my pockets and my wife's pockets a little bit. So we ended up having to leave. We ended up leaving Turkey, going back to Finland, finishing out the year there in Finland. My wife ends up giving birth in Finland to my handsome son, Thomas the IV. And that was a great time. Finished out there. After Finland, after that year, that's my third year, right? My third year, my fourth year, now I go to Argentina. So now I'm in Argentina, and that was that was a whole different experience for itself as well. Shoot, man, like I said, this is exactly why I'm replaying all the things in my head, and this is exactly why I need this podcast to tell y'all this, because y'all kind of y'all wouldn't believe the things that goes on. But yeah, I was in La Banda, Argentina. You can look it up. I can put you a little thumbnail or whatever so you can see it. Look, I'm gonna point at it, whatever. Like, that was a different experience in itself. But me and my wife survived, and I unfortunately ended up getting hurt. So I had to go home, rolled my ankle, and yeah, that itself was just so messed up. Ended up getting hurt. I leave around, I think, November or December again. I know I was home for Christmas. I was home for Christmas with my mom, and yeah, so we had to survive through that, right? Now, fortunately, I ended up getting another job after a couple weeks, maybe up to a month. Ended up getting another job, going back to Turkey. Now, I told you I just came from Turkey like a year ago, because I had to leave because they didn't pay my month. They didn't pay my 2 months, 2.5 months. So now I gotta go back to Turkey. I'm going back to Turkey because of just the situation, how everything is, Going back to Turkey, I get there, trying to fit in. I'm coming to a different team in the middle around I think I came like around January-ish, so they're already flowing. I'm trying to step in and, make an impact, and that was a little different. That was the first time me and my wife weren't together physically. I had to, because we were nervous about, how everything happened the first time in Turkey. I shipped out to Turkey myself for the first month just to see how it was, and so we were getting paid. Everything was fine, but this is 2020. So I told you, I said I got there like around January or whatever, right? COVID hit in March. COVID hit in March, right? Shut the whole league down. We're playing no, it didn't shut down. My goodness. This is why I'm having the podcast, man. Because all this stuff just comes like light bulb. Boom, 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 boom. Well, alright, in Turkey, we're watching everything go down as far as COVID. I'm seeing the news, people shutting down. I think one of the first countries to shut down was Italy. And then the second country I seen shut down was France. And then like next thing, by the third or fourth day, all like everything's basically shut down. Turkey's still playing. We are still playing. I'm hearing everybody's hitting up the U.S. Embassy. Everybody's, finding ways home. Turkey is still playing. We played an extra 2 more weeks on top of the shutdown. So by the time everything was shut down, we played an extra two weeks, right? No fans, strictly hoops. No bubble, no NBA bubble, no nothing like that. We traveling, but we got to get tested, and we still hooping. We ended up playing. We were the number 2 team at the time. We ended up playing the number 1 team at the time. Ended up winning, right? In the third or fourth quarter, my nose gets broke. I break my nose, and I have to go to a hospital, like a local hospital, and they gotta like stuff it in there and stuff like that. Stuff the big cotton thing in there. So excuse me with that. I don't do that. But ended up getting my nose broke off that crap, and the very next day, boom, ended up getting surgery on it. But I can go all deep into that, for a different time. So COVID hit Turkey. We shut down around April, right? And it's how Yahuwah is real, and I praise him for his timing. His timing is perfect. Because my team wasn't trying to let me and my wife and my kid go. They were trying to keep us in Turkey quarantined, basically, and I wasn't going for that. My little brother, he was he was in the NFL draft at the time, and he got picked up by the Bears 5th round, and that draft was like on April 22nd or something like that. Well, luckily, me and my family were able to get home, and I was able to go to that draft. That was in April, so it was a major, major blessing. And so after Turkey, after that, April-ish, I think I ended up going back to Finland to finish out. I think I did. I think me and my family, we all did. So I got Finland, France, Turkey, Argentina. Shoot, I didn't even tell y'all that I had a pretty tough moment in Ukraine, because I was in Ukraine, but this was during like my second year. Because there was a rule that was in place that we had no idea about, me and my former agent at the time, that I couldn't play FIBA Euro Cup, which was Elan Chalon, my second year out in Pro A France. I couldn't play FIBA Euro Cup and Basketball Champions League in the same year. Remember, I told you that I had left Elan Chalon because I couldn't get a job. I immediately ended up going to Ukraine from France. Well, I wasn't able to play in Ukraine for those 2 weeks because of that BS rule that we had no idea about. My agent had no idea about, so I was in major, major depression. Super major depression. Well, that was one of the things that happened in Ukraine. So I hit that. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes. Forgive me, because this is my first time. So I'm allowing myself to be patient and to grow as this podcast grows. So I hope that y'all are patient with me as well. Right now, I'm just flowing and going. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it's really all about. I don't want to make this. I don't want to make this super structured and you know, boom, 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 boom. You know, I just wanted to flow. I got the mic in front of me. I just want to talk about experiences and stuff, you know, and just keep it real, real simple. Keep it laid back as much as possible. Yeah, so after Argentina and Turkey, yeah, after Argentina and Turkey, I went to Mexico. Where I'm at now, LMBP. Great experience. My wife likes it. She loves it. I love it. You know, it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing. My wife planned on giving birth in Mexico. It was still around that COVID time, so she was kind of unsure. So this is a wild story too. Maybe, you know, she can get on the podcast one day and tell it. But we ended up flying. Let's say I forgot my wife's due date. I hope she don't get me for that. But we have traveled from Chihuahua to Dallas. It was the only 2-hour flight, but she traveled like 3 days before her delivery date or something wild like that. It was crazy. We were supposed to give birth. She was supposed to give birth in Mexico, but she was super, super uncomfortable with the situation. It didn't feel right. So she ended up giving a home birth in Wichita, Kansas, which was absolutely beautiful. And that was to our second child, Tobias, you know, which is a wonderful, wonderful addition. So I was in Mexico for about 4 months. You know, Mexico's league is a little bit different. It's structured different. Mexico is year round, but there's different leagues within the country. So you got the top league, which is LMBP, and then you got the second league, which is, I guess it's the Ciba Copa, which is all around Mexico. And then you got the third league, which is the Chihuahua State League, which is a part of what I was supposed to do, but unfortunately didn't, just because of an unfortunate business situation that kind of trickled down to me, which unfortunately left me out of a job for the next 8-9 months. I'll talk about that. One day. Yeah, so I did that twice in Mexico, and that's that Mexico 2020, 2021, 22. Yeah, so, and then coming up to this past year, I just come back from Argentina. I'm not Argentina. Just came back from Israel. Israel was a great experience. Talk about that a lot. Very, 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 very good experience. Pros and cons, but I mean, that's everywhere, right? So it's not necessarily a big deal. It was absolutely beautiful. We stayed right next to the beach, right on the marina. So you could literally hear the ocean at night. I definitely missed that. But yeah, it was a definitely a great time. Ended up losing in the semifinals, which was the finals. Kind of like how it worked out, because the two teams that reached the finals were the two teams that was going to go to the top league in Israel. So, you know, the semifinals was technically the finals, because that championship round didn't matter. It was only one game. It didn't matter, you know. Yeah, so Finland, France. I've been to Finland 3 times. I was in France. I was in Ukraine for a couple weeks. I've been to Turkey twice. I've been to Mexico about 4 or 5 times. I've been into Argentina, and I've been to Israel. So those are places, and I promise you, next episode, I'm going to break down year after year, what happened, where I was at mentally. That's going to be a long episode. And so that's probably gonna be about an hour, maybe more. But I don't want it too long for everybody. Try to keep it between 45 hour 15. Like I said, this first one is short just because I just want to give you a little rundown, a little overview of everything, my plans with this, and what I plan to do moving forward. And like I said, it's cultivating culture in the world of basketball, man. Like, this stuff is real out here. People are having real experiences. People are missing out on money. I know, like, my story of missing out on, 2.5 months of a check, or not having a job for 8-9 months. That's absolutely unheard of to the normal ears, just because people are used to having their 9 to 5, which you're gonna get paid on the 1st or the 15th. Like, it. Some days you may not know it here. And so these experiences, these talks, talks about geolocation, or talks about food, talks about culture, the people. Like, this stuff needs to be had, because not a lot of people know, and I want to be the one, like I said, to bridge that gap, for people, because it's definitely necessary. I know I want to give my family more insight. I know there's maybe other people that wants to give their family insight. So that's why I have this platform. And I'm like, why not? I love to talk. People say I got the voice for it. I don't know about all that. I don't know Barry White stuff, but I mean, it is what it is, man. I think it's gonna be fun. Like I said, it's gonna be laid back. It's gonna be real chill. I got my notes here. Don't call me corny. You experienced, podcasters out there that's doing it with no notes. It's okay. It's my first time. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'll go into more detail about each experience on my next episode. It's going to be a little longer, so be ready to take your time with that one. And then gradually, I don't know how I'm going to release it yet, but try to work on at least something once every week and a half, depending on my schedule. Mexico is a little bit hectic, more hectic than a lot of other places. We play back-to-back games. We gotta fit like 30 games, 30 games into like 3-4 months. So they're pretty back-to-back. So the schedule's gonna be a little fugazi, but we try to make it work, because this is my passion. I feel like this is something that I was called to do, to share stories, to share testimony, a little bit more about me. I got baptized this past summer. It was definitely a great experience for me, and I just got to keep going and keep flowing, and keep doing Yahuwah's will, and keep making sure that this platform is for His purpose and His glory. So that anybody's on here, that's what it's really about. That's the foundation. It's all for Him. It's all to share the testimonies, to share other people's experiences, because everybody's blessed in some form or fashion, and we need to be able to share those blessings, share those stories, share those testimonies, spread that across the millions of people, so we can really know who's behind all this. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off with that. Thank you for your time being here, and thank you for the upcoming time that we're gonna spend together. I appreciate the love and support. You can follow me on Instagram, my company at 4pros underscore, and also my personal Instagram is at 42 underscore Gipson. I also have Facebook that's linked on there. I have other things as well that I'll be able to I'll just share on the notes on the I'll share it with you guys, man. You know the vibes. So yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I appreciate you guys being here, and y'all have a good one.